All right, so this is a completely unedited session of Kynlee working on her send to place. I wanted to leave this completely unedited because it shows a lot of her like personality quirks that I think may be difficult when you're handling her. That's not to say like that's not anything bad about her. Every single dog has different quirks, but I like to kind of expose when I can. So we're actually using the e-collar to teach the send to place. The e-collar provides light static stimulation. So think of it like kind of like a TENS unit. So it will not cause any physical damage to the dog. All it does is kind of create like a little pulsing feeling on her neck. We're using a very low level. I'm not trying to really correct her. I'm just trying to annoy her. Think about that what I'm doing is kind of similar to like when you get in your car and you don't put your seatbelt on and it goes ding, ding, ding until you put your seatbelt on, and that sounds really annoying. So you put your seatbelt on to avoid that sound. That's the same thing we're doing with the e-collar. I tell her place. The e-collar, if she doesn't start heading over there, the e-collar starts going ding, 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 or like giving a little bit of a sensation on her neck. When she gets to the place bed or looks like she's, 100% going there, I stop the stimulation. I chose e-collar for her. You don't have to use e-collar for teaching send to place, but I chose it for her because one of her quirks is she's a little bit stubborn. She's got that Pyrenees in her, I believe. It definitely kind of shows a little bit. Sometimes she can be a bit stubborn. And I know that it's stubbornness and not her being clueless to the behavior because this is not our first time working on this behavior. I have full understanding of where the dog's at in the training, so I'm able to say, hey, you really are just kind of being a turd about this. And she's just really intent on, I have some trinkets on a little table over there. She's just sniffing them. I'm over there making sure she's not trying to eat them or anything. I do let her kind of explore stuff. Like she'll come up and kind of check out my little camera filming device here in a minute. And for the most part, I do encourage her to explore because she tends to be a little bit on the insecure side. You can see even here, she's kind of looking a little bit stressed. She's still working on settling in, I think. So I do kind of encourage her to kind of explore and be a little bit more extroverted because I want her to feel a little more confident, a little more comfortable, especially in my house where she is obviously a little bit nervous. But basically, I'm just adding in different distractions and different situations to the send to place. And I wanted to add in, all of the mistakes that happen, how I handle those, and what I do. Because there's nothing wrong with dogs making mistakes. I make mistakes, you make mistakes, the dog can make mistakes too. But I'm using the e-collar to make her mistakes less rewarding for her. So sometimes we're rewarding the dog without even thinking about it. And in these cases where you saw like she knew to go to the place bed and then stopped halfway through and was like, oh my gosh, I've never done that before. If I went over there and maybe she was on leash and I kind of like had to help her over there, I'm kind of holding her hand too much. It's almost a little bit of a reward because she is kind of getting her way in that scenario. So I want to be as minimally involved in my corrections for this behavior as I can. The send to place is very kind of independent on the dog. It's up to the dog to put themselves there. So I want as little human interaction in that as possible, especially if her owners have a larger home than me, and I think they do have like an upstairs as well. So I want her to have really strong connection to, I put myself there. It's my job to get up there on my own. There's not going to be a helping hand to do that. I'm also mixing in some distraction noises because I don't want her place stay to start to suffer, having her come on and off a lot. So the kind of distraction noises I'm doing is like I'm messing with my front door, opening it a little bit. I'm going in my kitchen and opening the fridge, touching stuff in there, opening the freezer, crinkling things, opening like the cabinets, touching plates, jiggling like the silverware drawer. Sounds that happen during events that she likes to be distracted by. So food happening, people coming through the front door, stuff like that. And we're still playing pretty easy here. Because she is still learning the send to place. It's not perfect, clearly, but I am trying to make it challenging enough that it's helpful for her. So she's having a lot of issues sending from the front door here. So we spend the remainder of our session working on this picture because she is having some trouble doing it. So what I do is I'm just really patient with her. I kind of help her when she really needs it, but as little as possible. Like there, I kind of help direct her to the bed by using my body. But again, I'm doing as little as possible. And when I end this session, I end when she hits like a perfect rep. After that, we're done. I'm not going to keep hammering it because I'm sure she's also getting a little tired. So here she goes again. She does a really good rep. I'll come back and reward it. This is not our final rep. We do several more after this. Just because she did have such a sticky spot, I did want to work this a little bit. But there's also a balance of working too much and then you have a struggling session. So here we go again. She gives me the down when I tell her place, and she acts like she doesn't know what to do. This is something called learned helplessness. You may know a person that does this in your life. I don't know. I hear a lot of people complain about it. But learned helplessness is basically where the dog or person or whatever totally knows like what they're supposed to be doing, but they also know that if they don't do it or act like they don't know how to do it, that you're going to help them and make their job easier. And so they'll kind of take advantage of being clueless in order to get what they want. So that's what she's kind of doing here, is she's saying, oh, hey, I don't know how to do this. But really she does. She's just trying to see if I'm actually going to make her do it or not. So that's why that e-collar is really nice, because I'm able to add in some negative reinforcement where I'm taking away the uncomfortable feeling to increase the likelihood of her doing the behavior I want. I'm mixing that in. And also, technically, I guess there's a little bit of positive punishment where we are, adding unpleasant things to the wrong behavior. Like when she likes to stop and spin around in front of my couch. I'm adding in pressure at that point to say, hey, that's not the right answer. You need to go all the way. And my camera does keep getting stuck on my basket there. It's set to record, track on a dog, and it does not always track on the dog. And I realize I said that this is an unedited session and you may see some jump cuts throughout the video. That's me cutting out my camera staring at nothing for a few seconds. So it's uncut in the sense of anything that you're going to want to see is still in here. But I do try to cut out my camera being my camera. And I was really happy with this rep, so we called it on this one. But we're going to keep working this. It's got a bit of ways to go. And then some other things we're going to be working on is going to be neutrality and some more all-around stuff.